Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final practice stream before we are off to the marathon. And I just want to flying solo for this one, of course, but I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in to every episode, or any of the episodes, or even just this one. And extra special thanks in advance for tuning into the marathon and participating in any way, whether it just be viewing, donating, being there live, all that stuff, commentating, whatever that is. We greatly appreciate that. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read my intro and outro, do my best to commentary solo just in case anything happens. And I'm going to read it from my phone so that way that everything kind of works out. If anything happens, I'll just adjust the end to, instead of reading in my co-commentator, to explaining the base movement mechanic myself, and then it's about a few sentences, so it's actually pretty good replacement. And then we're going to have the outro here as well, and I'm going to read that at the end. So I'm going to kind of just throw this out just like it was live. So this is the dress rehearsal, if you will. Okay, so we're going to get everything set up here first. So you'll have to imagine me using a number to generate the seed, and then you'll see the screen here with all these flags already selected. And then you will have the number. So that's what I'm going to be reading out. All right, I'm going to get my water uncorked. I have this 24-ounce bottle that has a quick flip mechanic, so that's good. That's what we'll be taking to the event. Okay. Hello, my name is Tony, and this is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, or Roten for short. It is one of the few games with a randomizer mode included in the base game. Like many randomizers, we generate seeds, which I have up on the screen now. And if you like, you can copy this down and play this seed as well. This game is a Metroidvania, a platformer with RPG-style mechanics. It is the spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night and the GBA DS games that followed, designed by Igarashi. Quickly before we begin, I will touch on the difference between our main flag that separates our two main categories. That's the type flag, right here. The type flag determines how everything is shuffled. When something retains type, other items and ability shards of that same type will only be shuffled amongst their own drop locations. For example, a purple shard will be only shuffled with other purple shard locations, and so on down the line. For chaos, this limit is mostly removed, and we have way more potential drop locations for everything. Tonight we will be playing Max Chaos. There is a built-in timer in the bottom corner. But this will not time us perfectly, so please refer to the main RTA timer for our real time. Joining me on commentary is my friend Yeehaw, whose voice you may recognize if you are a Tetris fan. He's going to explain our base movement mechanic that we start with. Since we hit many other things that we may need to talk about very quickly in the run, we want to explain that first, and then we'll go ahead and start the countdown. And then this will be where he explains how backdashing works. I guess what I'll do is just explain how backdashing works. So basically, what you will do on the controller is you will have your backdash button, whatever you map that to. You're going to press that in the direction facing away from the direction that you want to go, because it's a backdash. And basically what happens there is most things in the game are cancelable by one form or another of some other kind of movement. So some things can be canceled with a jump. A lot of things can be canceled with a backdash. Some things can be canceled by crouching. These include melee attacks, slides, all sorts of stuff. Basically how this works is when you press the backdash button, you can cancel it with a slide or crouching. Crouching is how you can cancel with a slide, because the slide comes from crouch. And basically what you do is you cancel the animation, you immediately duck. But you can backdash out of the ducking state or the recovery from ducking into standing. So basically what you do is you get a chain of backdash, duck, backdash, duck. You can press these on the same exact frame, or you can press duck down on the D-pad at roughly somewhere between the first frame and like the next 5 to 6, I think, before you lose any speed. And even if you lose some speed, it's still faster than just walking. So even if you're not really, really good at it, you don't lose any speed. But similar to Soten, even if you do it perfectly, you don't actually gain speed over someone who's doing it just good enough. So it's a really low barrier to entry. If you can press 2 buttons at the same time or one slightly after the other, you'll be good to go. The one thing you will want to be careful with about it, though, is if you press down too late after your I'm sorry, too early, you'll accidentally duck again before you get your next backdash out, and then you'll stutter. So you'll kind of see that if I screw it up as we play. Okay, that's how it goes. We're going to give ourselves a countdown. The clock doesn't start until Miriam actually moves, and we're going to go ahead and count it down in 3, 2, 1, Bloodstain. Okay. There's a nice little intro panel on every stage. We can go ahead and skip that by pressing the start button for the first, I think it's 3 or so. We can also cancel that animation whenever you pick up a stat up, like a HP, MP, or ammo capacity. You can cancel by pressing the start button. So sometimes if you see me accidentally pause, that's because I've pressed the start button in anticipation for that a little too early. And normally we'd skip a lot of the items here that I'm going to check, but the reason we're not is because we are playing Max Chaos. And that means that any enemy in the game that drops a shard could theoretically have what we need to beat the game. So we're going to just go ahead and kill a lot of the enemies, and also we're going to check every item location we can. Okay, that's an interesting one. We'll talk about that in a second. Because we need to find 2 key items to beat the game, to even open the end game and have a chance at beating it. So there is the Zangetsuto's sword, which is a key item. It's also a weapon. And that can be in any item location in the entire game. Hopefully not behind itself. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. And then we need 1 shard. So this game has shards, which is similar to the soul system. There's one of them right there. Oh, that's a really good... oh, we have a 100% drop rate. We'll talk about that in a second as well. So yeah, those things right there, there's 6 different colors of them, and we need one of the purple ones. It's called Dimension Shift. And what that does is it lets you teleport short distance. The reason we need it is because the final boss of the game is behind a solid wall, and it's literally the only way in the game to get past it unless you do some like absurd major glitches that we don't play with in randomizer. So that's that. So that's why I'm killing everything, and you know, it's not, there's no tech or, you know, RNG manip. It's just we need drops, and also enemies can drop useful stuff as well. So this is a guaranteed drop as well in the game. It's normally a fire shard that lets you light that cannon fuse on fire so that you can break that wall. It kind of like gives you a tutorial on how to use the directional shards. We'll talk about shards in a minute. But let me just touch on one thing that we already picked up. That was the silver bromide in the chest there. That is a key item, and that is for progression. It opens up a different area of the castle when properly turned into NPCs. So that's a really nice find. That opens up some more stuff for us to check. Okay. I'll talk about shards in a minute. I want to hold off on that just because we want to cover 2 basic things real quick. This game has RPG mechanics in it, as I mentioned. So we have all the cool stats. You know, we have strength, intelligence, constitution, mind, and all of that. Okay, and extra shards is actually good. You can get up to 9 shards stacked on top of each other, and they will make that shard a little bit better. You can also upgrade them at the shop with crafting materials. So I wanted to... Ooh, that is really nice. That's the highest attack power weapon you can find in a chest. See, my damage just basically quintupled there, I think. Okay, so I just want to show you something real quick that's going to happen right at the top of one of the next rooms here before we talk about shards. And that is what we call Coyote Time, and that's in reference to Wile E. Coyote, kind of how like he can run off a ledge, hold in the air, and gravity doesn't take effect right away. That same thing exists right here. I'm going to show it to you a little bit. Yeah, see, now I slid off the edge there and then jumped after I was already off the ledge. You have X amount of frames to do it. I'm not exactly sure what precisely the count is, but once you get good at it, it's pretty easy to do. And also sliding off a ledge saves a few frames. You'll see it in any kind of traditional speedrun. You'll see runners sliding off ledges at every opportunity, if that's the direction they're going in. Okay, and then now we can talk about shards. We'll get that out of the way, because all we have now is just a few more rooms. Okay, that's interesting. We have a really easy boss fight. It's going to take no time at all because I have a pretty solid weapon. And so we'll talk about shards now. So there's 6 different colors of shards in the game. You've already seen the green one. That's the familiar set. That I'm going to take a lot more safety saves than I would in a marathon setting, obviously. But The green ones are familiars. There's only 6 of them, or a couple more, 2 more if you have the DLC installed. And basically, they just help you out. They're actually good in this game, unlike a lot of the other games where the pets aren't very good. In the Metroidvanias. Okay, summon goes. Cool. We have yellow shards, which are just basic passives. You saw me get one of those. We have red shards, which are just simple magic spells. You equip it, press the button, you get the magic spell. It costs whatever MP it costs. Then we have purple shards, which are very similar to red shards, except they're aimable. So when Miriam, with the right stick, you can kind of move the arm around. You can use those in 360 degrees, with some rare exceptions. And then we have blue shards, which are the fundamentally game-breaking ability-altering shards. Like one heals you, one makes a shadow clone. There's all sorts of interesting stuff that they can do, but there's only about 9 of them, and some of them break the game. One of them makes us super fast, so we're going to look for those. And then finally we have white shards, which are going to be all the game's movement options for the most part, outside of one of them, which is a quality of life shard. It's used in vanilla speedruns just to create a bunch of shenanigans, but wow, we are actually short on food, which is weird for a MC. That's very disappointing. Okay, well, there's not much we can do about that. Okay, so there's some good stuff here. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to donations while we progress through this next couple areas of the castle. I'm going to farm this quest real quick, get a look at some more items. This will only take a couple minutes, but it's perfect time. We're just going to kill these enemies right here over and over, and for 5 laps, we'll go ahead and get some donations, announcements, whatever we have. And right now, before we resume and go in the other direction. Okay, so now that we're back on track here, we're going to grab this teleporter room up here so that we can teleport back. And I'll explain real quick about the regular Mort guy that I just killed 5 of there for that quest. So it's very interesting how he works. He actually doesn't drop a shard. There are 2 enemies in the entire game that have a shard drop slot, but they don't actually drop a shard. And he's one. And for whatever reason, when he gets shuffled, those 2 no drops are also shuffled throughout the pool. So you'll see me kind of checking for some of those here and there. But also he has this kind of thing where sometimes when he rolls a shard, he can just roll 100% drop rate. No idea what causes it, but that's what happened in this seed, and there you go. So if it's a good shard, it's really useful because you can stack 9 of them very easily. Also decent for farming money as well. Let me talk to you a little bit about the Shantae gear that I'm wearing here. You might recognize that portrait in the top left as not being from this property. So this is free DLC, so if you just install the game and have it updated to the, I think it's patch 1.5 or 1.6, you will get this gear for free, and it's really handy for max chaos runs. It makes them a lot more completable, because in max chaos there's no guarantee of where anything is, especially on item drops on the ground. So the chances of you getting a weapon on the boat to fight the boss with are oftentimes very slim. And that's a big problem, because unlike in Symphony of the Night, Miriam's melee attacks without some kind of worn weapon to enhance them. Okay, that's green. I'm just noting that for the future. They don't do much damage at all. Alucard's Fist does a ton of damage. Compared to with some of the poorer weapons in that game, whereas in this game, we definitely do very, very little damage. So not having a weapon is very, very unfortunate. Having that little short blade that I put on in the beginning makes the boat way easier if you don't find any other weapons. And, you know, because I'll go from doing like 2 damage a hit to 12, and that's pretty ridiculous. The fight is a little slower, of course, without, you know, like a really good weapon, but it's better than not being able to do it at all. Or like having to actually melee it with Miriam's hands and feet, which just takes forever. Okay, that's also an item. Just going to note that as well. Okay, and that's pretty much like all the basics. There's a bunch of other forms of movement in this game. We'll talk about them if we find any. It's very possible we won't find anything but that dimension shift shard that we need to beat the game, which I was talking about earlier. But basically, there's a couple ways to play the game. So you can like sit here and farm every single enemy over and over. Oh, that's good information. Or you can kind of like bank on items and try to just progress through the game, open up whatever you can open up, and then, you know, circle back and farm shards later. And that's my style. I like to find good items first, game-changing items, and then come back, especially items that maybe raise your luck, which will increase your chances of getting those shards to drop in the first place. Also, I like killing as many enemies as I can in different diverse, you know, sequences, because some of them can drop consumable items or crafting materials. So like this plant guy, Mocha Weed, he drops an item that showed me that he drops another important item that I want to get as many of as I can. And how the drop pool shuffling works is the items in an enemy's drop pool stay together, but then that whole drop set gets shuffled. Oh wow, that's really good. Double jump is a movement ability, and it does exactly what you think it does. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna proceed here because I don't actually know what I can break down yet that's super useful, so I can always come back and farm these guys later. But that whole drop pool gets shuffled, so there's a few items that drop in the game that will clue you in on, oh, this enemy might, you know, have a percentage chance to drop something you really want. And in this game, you can not only craft materials, but you can break other items down into crafting materials. And with the max chaos flags on, we get all that stuff shuffled as well. So not just the results, but the ingredients and the dismantles are all shuffled. So if you can find this consumable item called Alkahest, what that does is it lets you break down those items. So that's why we don't sell anything in the beginning. I don't have any purples.
Congratulations.
I'll explain what happened there in just a second. But yeah, so that Alkahest, the Ectoplasm drop, that let me know that that enemy also drops a single Alkahest in its drop pool at about a rate of 10%. So if I want to farm those to, you know, get a breakdown of an item later for something good, I can do that. So that's really handy to have. That Waystone that we just picked up is really nice. That item teleports us back to the village area. Very useful for getting out of long dead-end areas and so on. That first boss, Blink and You Miss Him, is actually pretty nasty when you play this game. You know, in vanilla, if you're not familiar with his patterns, you really just don't want to stand in front of him. You always want to jump over him or slide under him if you can. What I did there was I used that Death Scry shard. It's typically not all that useful, but what it does do is it curses enemies, and if you get cursed, you get half of your MP and HP just missing until the status effect wears off, and then they get refunded. So what you can do is, if you think you have enough damage to do half of something's health, you can curse it up and then kill it before it gets its stuff back. And that actually works on pretty much any humanoid boss, which there are a few of, and Zangetsuto is one. So, I'm sorry, Zangetsu is one. The Zangetsuto is the sword that he drops that we need for later. So, yeah, gotta check every broken wall. Like that enemy right there, she can curse you, so. And I will start using double jump a little bit more when I get into some sections that have a little bit higher of a ceiling. You have to forgive me, my double jump movement is not on point as some of my other movement. We just don't do it as often because we don't always have double jumps. So, but if you watch a really good runner play, you'll see some crazy good double jump movement. Okay, have to remember that. So we can get a intentional sequence break here with double jump. You can also use a purple shard called Reflector Ray on the other left side of the room to do the same thing. And you can get a intentional sequence break. We still can't progress all the way through this area, but we can get to an area to open a shortcut to come back through. By doing this this skip right here. Oh, okay, and that's combat solved, folks. So that's, if not the best, the second best purple shard in the game, and the only thing it's really lacking is range. But it has some of the best DPS in the game. You can see my mana bar is barely going down there while I'm using it. And that's because some directional shards actually have a per second mana cost, so they last the shard little damage hitbox or whatever here. This will stay out as long as you hold the button, but you can actually just tap the button, and it only charges you for the amount of frames you hold the button now, because it has a per second mana cost. And there you can see I'm cursed and half of my MP is locked out there. Just gonna check this first. Okay, so now I can open this shortcut. And we can go and check all this stuff down here. Woo! And this boss fight's really easy. We're going to infinite stun lock this guy, and we can read some donations here. Okay, so basically what's happening now is we're kind of like stuck. We can theoretically progress, but it's through a very nasty boss. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it because I have the damage. I don't have the healing though, which is gonna make it a little tougher. But I'm gonna do just this lap back around because I want to make sure that we had every chance to get as much help as we can before we take this boss on. There's a completely different set of progression in this. Oh, I didn't open the door, did I? No, I didn't. That was silly. Okay, so taking another lap is fine because we get some more XP, we get some more chances for shard drops, some more chances for item drops. We get that item drop that I missed. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we do want to go this way. Forgot to open that. For whatever reason, that switch is also shares the switch with another switch in a different area. So it probably won't come up, but it could. Yeah, I can't get. I could go around and get up there, but it's a blue chest, so we won't worry about it too much. Okay, hopefully this is a save room and not a warp room. Of course. That's okay. What we'll do is we'll warp back to the beginning. We'll do some menuing, some shopping, and then we will teleport back after saving. Because we have a guaranteed warp room right here. We have a guaranteed warp room in 2 other locations to prevent getting yourself soft locked. And we have a guaranteed save room to the right here. This is the other big difference between Max Chaos and our normal flags that we do. And that is, oh my goodness. Wow, this seed would have been incredible to get at the marathon. Okay, well, I'm just gonna shut up for a second and concentrate on looking through all this stuff. Okay. And then I'm just gonna really quick. Okay. Weapon Bane, Invisible, and Crit. Okay, so there's Weapon Bane X1 off of this. Okay, but we need 2 Weapon Bane. Okay, so this isn't worth going for at the moment because we don't have the things that we can actually break to get the Jeebel's glasses, but that's the other super important item. That bad boy lets us have basically infinite MP. It basically says that all the MP you use costs 0. So we can sell all these shards because I already looked in the crafting, and I know that none of the shards are needed to craft anything that I need. Well, there's only one piece of food that's cheap, but it's still useful. so we'll take it. The Witch's Hat helps me regenerate MP faster, which is really nice. But yeah, I think we just keep progressing here and get into the library and then go from there. We got his drop already. So this is intentional. It's just we skipped a few steps. Okay, this is Bloodless. And Poison is another great status effect because every human boss is vulnerable to it, including the final boss, one of the two final bosses. I don't know what happened there. I don't know why she bugged out and glitched out like that, but... we'll take it. Ooh, so close. We need Dimension Shift, not Directed Shield. Okay. Well, this is still a great seed so far. I mean, we've got pretty much everything we need to beat the game, and we have one thing that... we'd really like to get that we can also craft. So we just have to find some stuff that'll let us craft it. And we'll be in the money. We also have a Solomon ring, which is, you probably saw me in the shop go, ooh, when I was able to craft it. And the reason I did that is because it is a very, very important accessory. It's actually the final accessory in the fetch quest chain that we usually don't even touch in... any version of the randomizer at all. And the reason it's so good is because it gives you an increased drop rate for specifically shards and a bunch of really good stats, including luck. So it just does it all, kind of. It's one of the best items you can find for sure if you haven't already found Dimension Shift. And even if you already have, you're just looking for better shards that, you know, will do more damage, and or you're looking for blues or white shards to give you more mobility options and so on. Like, it is an amazingly good thing to find. You'll maybe probably not put it on for like the last fight or anything like that, but you will definitely want to wear it throughout most of the rest of your journey. And it's not going to come off until the probably final boss for me, most likely. We may get into go mode with the glasses, and if that becomes the case, then I might take it off for more damage. Here's a little cool movement platform thing that you do with your aiming of the shards. So I actually require you to get up here normally if you play through the game in normal progression. But we skipped a bunch of stuff, so, you know. Okay, this is the library. His name's a librarian. His name's OD. Stands for Orlok Dracule. He's going to go ahead and upgrade that silver bromide that we had, which they used it to take our picture. We got a portrait of ruin, if you will, at the shop there. And then when you take that picture to him, he goes ahead and forges you a multipass, and that multipass is what lets us into the Doom Train section, and yeah, I said Doom Train, and oh, nope. Oh, we were one hit from a medal. That's so unfortunate, but you know what happens. This is normally where you get double jump right here. Okay, wow. Okay, so we're getting all the green shards out of the way, which is interesting. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my MP here. So yeah, that opens up a whole other sequence. It's not really an area we want to go to for sure right away because it is a dead end. So if we can't get out of it, it's not great. And in Maxcast, there's no guarantee that there's a warp room at the end. And this is unfortunate because now we have no warp rooms by OD to come back and get more books. But what OD also does outside of that little quest progression is he lets you borrow books from the library. So you start off being able to borrow one book. And then after you travel around the castle and see some more of it, 2 different areas, he will let you go ahead and borrow a second one, and same thing with the third. Except with the third, there is an additional caveat of, I believe you have to have one of the like tier 3 areas of the castle, at least you have to at least have entered it, I believe. Sometimes he gets bugged around, but you can usually just teleport around and get him to go ahead and let you borrow some books. And the books do all sorts of stuff, from making each individual stat have a little bit extra points. There's an attack speed buff one. There's the one that we almost always grab, which is the one that does increased damage for all your directional shards, which is what I grabbed. I'm just going to take a look at this. Is this a green? Yeah, it is. Okay. So that's unfortunate, but with double jump, we don't have to do as much of the platforming here as we normally would. With no movement, we would have to, you know, pull out a bunch of shelves and stuff. And this is kind of like the game walking you through some of its basic mechanics. Let me open that shortcut up top in case we come back here. We need to come back here. We can do the quick way up top. Hopefully this is a teleport room, so that we can teleport back into this area without... Yeah, all right. Decent luck. Decent luck. So coming back to the librarian is going to be slow, but we can definitely make it work. Okay. Green chest up there. That was very aggressive, Wolfman. Okay, so now I'm going to loop back around all the way to the area of garden that we were in before, that big room in the middle with the frogs at the bottom, and they had some other stuff going on. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to make sure that I've seen all the warp rooms and so on, because I'm going to go back up top where I was before. And I want to be able to get back down here quickly, because that will be a dead end all the way up at the top of the tower. So yeah, let's go down. I'm not going to go all the way down. Just going to go down and check this room down here to see if it's also a warp. And this is pretty much just a chill check area. This is a really good spot for some donos, as we're just going to loop back around, and we're not really doing too much here. If I find anything juicy, I will just note it and explain it when we come back from reading. Let's go. Yeah, yep. I can keep going here, because we don't really have anything special happening. I think we got almost everything talked about. That's like super important. It's a lot of information to download, I know, but any randomizer is going to be tough to learn if you, especially if you don't know the base game. So. Okay, we'll get the 2 chests on the way back. Okay, that's good. Okay. Like that not being a green chest. So we just equipped a lot more intelligence gear there, because all the spell damage we're dealing goes off of intelligence. Oh, not the right glasses. Okay, we're gonna check here and just see what we have drop-wise. We have Toad, we don't have Plume Armor. Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way because this pig guy in the sky here. Okay. Ooh. It's pretty good yellow. One of the better ones. Free luck, thank you. I'll take that. Oh, white shard, that's... Oh, invert, okay. Well, that opens up the rest of the castle. That lets us swim, and it also lets us get through these little really weird gaps to get in the back door of some zones. And it gives us infinite vertical movement now, so that opens up a lot of stuff. Love to see it. We really don't need glasses at this point. So, like, if I can get them, great, but I don't know if I'm going to farm for them at this point. I think it's just go all in on getting our acquired items and then be on our way. Although, I mean, it might be quite a trek for us to be able to get to our required items, so it's very possible that we are stuck farming stuff for a long time. That's what you guys paid for with Max Chaos, so... and this is a little bit slow to turn the castle upside down, but like I said, it is infinite vertical movement to be able to turn everything upside down. Okay, Bulleye Blast is an interesting shard. We're not going to use it, probably, but it does a lot of damage and can stun lock. It just costs a lot of MP, so... The one good thing about the Jeebus Glasses is it is in the normal item drop pool because it comes out of a treasure chest in the game. Oh, that's something else I can explain that we haven't really touched on. That's actually useful. So the game, we use the built-in randomizer to the game. It's one of the very few games with one, as I mentioned at the top. And the reason we do is because we have a lot of players that play on other systems other than PC. And, you know, you really can't play with those people on modern consoles if you use a PC-only mod that, you know, gives us all the other randomizer features that we would like to have, that we unfortunately do not have. So yeah, we play on that. Now, it does have its limitations. One of them is the soft lock potential, which is why we play on bedded seeds, like I mentioned. But also, nice. Also, there's certain things the game can't shuffle, so we'll talk about some of those limitations right now. So the crafting items that you need for making food and drinks, those never get shuffled. They just are what they are. Those recipes always remain the same. However, like I mentioned before, almost everything else can be shuffled. Where was I going with this? I totally lost my train of thought here. Something about... I don't remember. It'll come to me later. Well, this is why you have a commentator, because you gotta think. So anyway, I'm doing this area because if I get this area completed, especially now that I've invert, I can look at every single thing here and I never have to come back. And I think that now our best moves are going to be to clear entire areas and then not have to come back to them. There's one enemy here that I might have to come back for, but if that's the case, then we're totally screwed anyway, so we're not going to worry about that. It's a very specific enemy that only spawns in that upper 2.5D section. And you have to kill enemies in a very specific way in order to get him to even spawn, and then he has his own drop rate after that. So, little nice clip with the 2.5D objects. Let's see, we need, yeah. And then we did not get... Okay, I think we're only missing one green shard now. Awesome. Okay, that's a... Oh, we might have to come back for that chest right there. It's possible. There's one that's hidden underneath that last walkway there. You can get to it with only dimension shift, which will be hilarious. So we have one of the beam weapons now, Tisra Zion. This is a little bit slower DPS because of the way that the shard has a cooldown on how often it can hit something. But it hits the whole screen. So it's going to keep us much safer. Let us hit from all the way away from enemies. And we can bust out the foul teep when we need a lot more DPS. This boss is an auto-scroller. There's not much to it. We're going to do so much damage to it in phase 1 that it's going to be sitting at 1 HP until we get to the next 2 phases. And then we'll hit it again, and then that'll be it. So this is a great time to read some donations and you know, catch up on anything like that we've got going on. think good on tower. There's really nothing else here. I don't want to go to the train yet because I don't want to waste my waystone. Because I only have one. So I think what we're going to do here is... I really want that extra luck. But I don't have a way to get back out of that room quickly. But I do have inverts, so I can go up the right side of... Yeah, library. Yes, I think we're going to... Problem if we go up the right side of library, we... miss out on all the stuff in high DCC. Yeah, let's make another one of these. Okay, and then so yeah, there's two ways to upgrade your shards. You can stack extra copies, or you can use crafting materials on them. Okay, so we need... Okay, there's Invisible Blade, so that's 9. And then we needed a different kind of round. Critical round. Okay, so that sacks the scarf, but it's worth it if we can farm that up. So we need critical rounds. So 7, 9, we need 16. Oh, okay, so we can go to 14, but we have to get another alchemy, so that'd be 15. That gets us Invisible Blade as well. So I need... Oh, man. Okay.
Tell me, what exactly is the Liber Logaeth? Oh, what would you like to sell? Is this here you are? Is Carl? That is pleasure. Is here you are? Is it pleasure doing? Is here you are? Is it here? Is here? Is pleasure? Is here you? Is it here? Is pleasure doing? Oh, what would you like to sell? Oh, what would you like to buy?
We can buy another fairy scarf. That's interesting. Can't buy the rounds we need. Platinum. All right. Well, I guess we go ahead and get Dully. Was I saying something about the different platforms? Yeah, I think that's what it was. And the randomizer and blah 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 built in. I had a point about it. We use the built-in one. Oh yeah, logic. Okay, so they made the game as kind of like a accident. So they wanted to make a roguelike mode, and unfortunately they just couldn't put that together. So this game was a Kickstarter game, and the randomizer ended up being the compromise for the roguelike mode that they couldn't deliver. And with that, they, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a cultural thing, they couldn't afford to hire an extra programmer or something like that. They don't have pure logic in the game that'll prevent you from soft locking. So that's why the soft lock stuff exists. And there's really only a couple ways around it. For what they did do for us is they put in two safety locations, which we've already been to one of them. And those safety locations basically are designed to give you either invert, which is what we already have, or they give you the actual Zangetsu sword in case it's locked behind itself. An invert would open up the rest of the castle. So if movement progression is locked behind itself as well, you know, those two things should get you over the finish line. The only issue is that they don't always spawn in the seeds when you need them. And yeah, so. Do we have Killer Barber? Sab, Barb. We do not have Killer Barber. Okay, I don't have Killer Barber, Nibon, or. Oh, flashing lights warning here. We're gonna turbo farm. Okay, dimension shift. All right. So we really don't have to farm for any shards anymore at all. I mean, I'd love to get I'd love to get an accelerator so I can show you guys what that looks like, but you know, it is what it is. And this was nothing, right? Yeah. Oh, I should have kept dimension shift on. So we can do this. Yeah, we don't need to, Where'd the little simian guy go? Oh. Alright, well. We don't have... Okay, no simian, and then no... Oh, we do have... No, not shield outsider. Lance armor. Okay. Just checking to make sure that neither one of them is the no drop shard. You know what? We're just gonna go. We've got DS. We don't really need MP. We're just gonna try to find our sword that we need to get out of it, to get to the end. Oh, and there it is. Okay, well, game, I guess. Cool. Still gonna open green chests because we could get Jeebel's glasses out of any of them. Okay, this is the Hall of Termination. So basically here, we fight our mini-boss. Our mini-boss, his name is Jeeble. He functions the exact same as Richter and Symphony of the Night. He's being kind of like controlled or whatever, and you have to not kill him, but do enough damage to him so that like the control element appears, and then you slice that with that Zangetsu to a sword. That's why we needed it, and then that will open up the last area of the game. That door open on the right there is the one switch that was connected. Okay, now I have 2 waystones. This is cool. Okay, teleport room, so it doesn't really matter, but... Oh, double teleport room. That's not luck. That's not very good luck, but we've already got such great luck everywhere else that it's totally fine. Doesn't matter. Ooh, that halite could be valuable. I don't remember if we had access to rice or not, but even if we don't, it's still good. I'll wait. We need to...
Next time, obey.
Okay. We just have to be very careful to not kill this guy because we didn't have a save room. Okay. Sure. Do I want to go all the way back down and get the other book? I don't think so. I think we just go now. We're not going to get sub-hour, but that's super rare for MCs.
So, what'll it be?
Aegis Blade? Okay, looks like crafting,
I've learned. The truth about your slumber, Miriam. As I suspected, it was Alfred's doing.
Oh, what would you like to sell?
well, we're
What
good
would you like
there.
to sell? Is there you are. Is there you are. Is there you are. Is there you are. Pleasure doing business. Is there you are. Is there you are. Oh, what would you like to buy?
Oh, we don't have access to rice at all. Okay.
Is Carl, thank you. Is there you are.
Well, we'll be fine.
Here's what I...
surely we'll hit a save room between now and the end game. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why my commentary brain just exploded when I forgot what I was talking about at that one point, but you know, shit happens. Oh. Wow, this seed was stacked. So high jump does exactly what you think it does. It gives you a ton of vertical movement. So we have all the vertical movement, none of the horizontal movement, unfortunately. Double jump is kind of horizontal, but we didn't get any moon belt. We didn't get a strider belt. We didn't get accelerator. Nor could we get Jeebel's glasses and any dashing weapon, which is, you know, you can't get it all. It's nice when you do, but okay, we don't need that anymore. Skip a whole boss right there. This stuff does hit hard, but oh yeah, food gives you a bonus the first time you eat anything unique. Bonus stats. Didn't go over that. What else is there? We didn't see half the game because we got everything right away, which is tight. Oh, I remember now. So yeah, so basically what happens is when the game shuffles stuff, it has a limitation on what can be shuffled where, because anything that's findable in the overworld, like a chest or like, you know, a broken wall or whatever, that stuff cannot be replaced by crafting only stuff. And all that stuff gets shuffled. It doesn't get like miscellaneously replaced, removed, and so on. So that's why if it exists in a chest somewhere, or a key item location, or like a stat up in a wall, it just gets shuffled around with everything else that exists. So all the crafting stuff, unfortunately, does not get shuffled into those pools. So it makes things a little bit more predictable. Like, we know we can always find glass somewhere, although some chests are like basically impossible to grab in a speedrun anyway, so there's no reason to. Like, GG's vanilla chest requires you to basically have every shard in the game. And to have every shard in the game, you need like 95% completion, because to get one of the shards, you can't spawn the boss that drops it until you get 99% or 95% completion. And then you also have to have every single super boss killed, which, you know, sometimes we do, but, you know, a lot of times we don't. And you have to farm the super bosses that also like do not have a 100% drop rate, which is like terrible. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep what I've got here. Yeah, there's no reason to switch anything, I don't think. Oh yeah, I can switch this to this for a little bit more intelligence. Okay, and then we're going. Here's Dominique. She's a pain. She's the real final boss. She is humanoid though, and she is weak to dark, so she can be poisoned, and she's got a lot of crazy attacks, but if you got good evasion, you can kind of just like dodge all of her BS. That one I should have slid underneath. Either of the two really good dark shards makes really short work of her. Ow. Yeah, that elbow is pretty ridiculous. She can execute that move and then store it and then just one frame it on you later. It's pretty awful. And we didn't even see her big giant beam attack, so that's cool. She has a second phase where she gets a couple extra attacks that she goes into when she gets to half HP, but you know, if you can kill her quick enough, she might not use it. She's completely random. Every attack she just, you know, tries to throw, the direction she moves. I don't think there's a way to manipulate it, but you know. Okay, and this is Bale. This is the final boss. You notice there's 3 heads in the screen. They're rotating around. Dominique's going to go ahead and possess one of them. There's all sorts of like Gradius type stuff that we have to avoid, and the one that she possesses is going to have less HP, and that's why you want to kill that one. You theoretically could do damages to all the other heads, but all that's going to happen when you deal damage to another head is you won't end the fight. Actually, you will just destroy that head, and it won't be able to attack anymore. So really, it doesn't actually do anything in terms of winning the fight for you. Yeah, I should probably invert and follow it around, but you know. This is decent RNG. So we want either the lizard or the demon head. We don't want the cat head because the cat head has a long thing of sequences and fills the floor with lava. So if you don't have invert, that's kind of a pain to get around. But we'll take a cheeky 1 cycle. Let's go. All right. That's a great practice run. There was a lot of stuff available at the beginning. Solomon's Ring being available was huge. Finding Faltib, which is great because we were not dependent on mana for damage there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That's Bloodstained of the Night, Ritual of the Night here. I have a little quick outro with thanks, and we want to read real quick. And then we can have a few last minute donations as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in, whether live here in person, at home, or on replay VOD. We just want to thank some people before we hand it off to the next run. First and foremost, we must thank our community leader, Fran. She is responsible for most of us finding and being involved in our community. Verlieben Dick Fran. Shout outs to all of the community members. There's too many to name everyone, but extra special thanks to Yeehaw, Axel, Rainbow, Doc, Jupiter Climb, Bobby, Hapra, and many more. I would not be here without all of you. Thank you to the event organizers, volunteers, attendees, viewers, and especially donators. None of this would be happening without you, so please be proud of that. And to the wonderful charity we are supporting at the event, the Liam Foundation, thank you for all the work that you do and allowing us to contribute to your work. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and to join together with you standing up for such an important and noble cause. The Roten community went through a very tough spell in 2024 with a game-breaking soft lock that rendered the game unplayable and really stopped a lot of us from playing, but we got through that, and we are here today with not only that fix, but a sequel that was just announced that's coming next year. So please, whatever struggles you may be dealing with, just know that there is a light at the other end of the tunnel, and please just hang in there. You will prevail. If you're interested in the game, it is available on all platforms, so I would avoid PS5 and mobile due to technical issues, but everything else works pretty well. I have guides up on my YouTube, and our community is always looking to help out and onboard new players, so please consider checking out Roten before we have a brand new entry in the series in 2026. Thank you so much, everyone. There it is. And if that's how it goes, we'll be like only half through our time. But what I can actually do is I can run back a shorter STS seed. So what I'll basically do is I'll give the marathon the option to basically like, hey, if we get something done in an hour, like a max cast, and it goes that quickly, I do have a vetted set of seeds from the community. I have two MCs and an STS. So, if we only have the STS available, what I can do is I can run the one that I have, and then we're done. And we might save 20 to 30 minutes depending on what goes on. But if one of the two MCs I have, if I get one of them done really quickly, if we get lucky and stuff, and we have like 45 to 50 minutes left, I can actually run the STS that I have, because the STS I have vetted was a probably guaranteed win within 50 minutes or so, barring maybe faster, all really depends on drop luck. Yeah, so there it is. That's Ritual of the Night. Thanks everybody for joining me on the practice journey. It's been a pleasure. I definitely will not be quitting Bloodstained content or playing the game or anything after the marathon is over. I probably will be taking a break for a little bit, of course. This game is a little bit input intensive. As you can see, I am pressing all the way down all the time, the entire run sometimes. So it is a little bit harder on the joints as you get older. But I definitely will be looking into a couple things, especially now with the sequel being announced, like remaking my tutorial videos and stuff to get into this game, especially the randomizer centric ones that are, could be pretty good for this community to grow and all that. I'd love to get a tournament together if we can get that happening in the second half of the year. Maybe with the renewed interest from people hearing about the new game, we can make that happen. So I've definitely Bloodstained for life, and if the new game doesn't have a randomizer mode, I really will always want to come back to this game again. Being able to play on console with so many people and race with a lot more people than would normally be interested, because of the PC barrier of entry that sometimes occurs. Just being able to convince people to buy this game, and just you can fire up randomizer right away. A lot of normal, like regular gamers don't want anything to do with going to like a website and uploading, a ROM, or downloading a seed and downloading some software to randomize their game. So it's really cool that this has it built in, and even though it has its flaws, it's definitely a lot easier of a sell for a lot of people that we'd like to get into the hobby. So I definitely have plans to continue on after that, but I definitely won't be practicing 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week like I was at the beginning of the prep for this. Just to kind of like give my joints a chance to heal up and all that. But yeah, there's not a ton of new games coming out this year that I'm really all that interested in. So yeah, you'll still be seeing this in the regular rotation. I love the game. I love the community. So we're not going anywhere. And we're definitely gonna be playing a bunch of the new game for sure. And yeah, that's it. That's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. So hopefully what will happen is, after the marathon is over, we'll be able to grab the VOD and repost it here on my channel, or even if I can't do that, what I'll do is I'll react to the VOD at some point next week, and have that posted for you guys. Probably with the volume, the audio muted, so I can kind of like, or I'll pause and I'll talk about what I was thinking about or whatever was happening. We'll do something commentary related. And then if you like this, if you tune into the marathon, if you enjoy the marathon, please tune into the bonus run that will be happening 1 week after the marathon on the same night, Friday night, so the 20th, I believe. And that's going to be actually done by one of our best runners who lives out in California. Couldn't make it to the event live because it's in the Eastern time zone. But we are going to have another run where you're going to see a lot more cool stuff. So like a lot better melee combat, a lot better movement and potential exploit using and stuff like that with the kung fu shoes and thing. I think Axel can do all the super jump cancels and all that. So, and I should be on commentary for that run, unless there's some kind of unforeseen circumstances. So yeah, for sure. Tune into that. That's also going to be easier to catch if you're on the West Coast, because it'll be a little bit earlier. This one, you might have my run. If you're on the West Coast, you might not get off of work in time to catch it. All depends on, of course, it's a randomizer event. So we might be running way behind on day one, or we might be running way ahead. Who knows? So yeah, but if you are attending the event live, please hit me up. I'll be walking around I'll have my magic cards on me. Definitely be looking to hit up a lot of the restaurants and stuff around town in the downtown area, and definitely will have the game on me. So we'll hopefully in the practice room have a couple PCs where I can install that, and if people want to learn or check some stuff out, I'll be there, and more than happy to answer questions, do tutorials and stuff like that. So super excited about the event. Glad we got in. Glad we were approached. Glad that we get to support a great charity. So we'll see you guys at FFR, and hopefully again, and in the winter event, and maybe even next summer. So if this goes well, they'll probably do it live again, and it's within driving distance to me. So even if I'm not running the game, it's definitely a strong candidate for a great, nice vacation weekend, because I love randomizers and RPGs and platformers and all sorts of games. So I'm always down, especially for an all random marathon. That's like right up my alley, right? So I'm gonna have a great time. I'm staying for the whole event. I'm gonna watch as much as I can, checking out a lot of the favorite games and stuff. So the link for the marathon is in every description of all of the prep videos, and also in my submissions, I believe. So if you want to check that link out, that will have a link to the stream. It's Final Fantasy Randomizer over on Twitch TV, and it will also have a link to the charity, how to donate, the schedule, and all that other fun stuff. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna go rest and relax. We got a 6.5 hour drive tomorrow, but I'm going in a day early. So Friday we're gonna practice, and then Friday night, on the Friday the 13th, your boys will be running Bloodstained live in the flesh. Can't wait. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.